And we are back with our festival coverage, continuing this morning on The Breakfast Show. And my next special guest is six-time Golden Guitar winner, and he's nominated for another one this year, Dean Perrett. Good morning, Dean.
Hey, Sharnae, how you going?
Very good. Great to see you back here at 2TM.
Oh, it's great to be here, and in the old 2TM building too, you know. I remember way back, I remember when John Minson used to be on air here way back in the day, and yeah, so 2TM's always had a bit of a special thing in my life, because we could even get the direct broadcast right up in the South Burnett when I was a kid there, and used to listen all the time, you know.
Yeah, it's always nice to see a familiar face, because you are from the South Burnett, where I spent a number of years before coming here to Tamworth. Yeah. So it feels like a slice of home's just walked in in the door.
You were well and truly a local. You know, and that was you didn't have to do all the years of earning your strop. You just fitted straight in.
Oh, thanks, Dean. No, look, I still miss it. It's a beautiful part of the world. Great place in Queensland, and the people are just so wonderful up there in the South Burnett. But you mentioned about Hoedown and 2TM. Did you used to listen to Hoedown, obviously, in Kingaroy in the South Burnett?
Yeah.
So lots of memories.
On the family cattle property there, and my father, you know, he'd always tune in every night, and it was great. And then, you know, they'd take the broadcast of the Golden Guitar Awards, and I remember being a young kid and thinking, oh, gee, I'd love to be able to do that one day. I never thought that would happen. But
and now all these years later, you've got 6 to your name, and nominated for another one this year.
Yeah. No, it's unreal. You sort of got to pinch yourself, because it's, like I say, you never ever dream it'll happen to you, and it's, special. Yeah.
Now, you are nominated for Bush Ballad of the Year, so a big thing in a small town, written by yourself, Paul Ricketts, and Lockie McLean, and recorded by yourself. This is a special song.
It is, you know. It was young Lockie McLean, who's he's a 19-year-old from down in Victoria, and he works on a dairy farm there. And it was interesting, because he sent me a message one day, and he just said, "Oh, really think you ought to write a song about different influences with, you know, because there's a lot of small town songs around, but influences about, you know, things that mean a lot to a small country community, and things that can happen." And it's just, and I know our mutual mate, Paul Ricketts, Paul and I do quite a few shows together, and he does a lot of guitar work for me as well on the shows, and I mentioned it to Paul. I said, we should have a go at writing this one together, you know. And Paul, being Paul, he just flew into action, and the next morning he rings me up, "Hey, mate, have a listen to this. What do you reckon?" And, you know, he had a verse and a chorus done. I thought, gee, I better get busy, otherwise I'll miss out on writing this. So we did. We got in and finished this one. But I think, you know, the song, and I always use the example, because the first verse in the song talks about a meatworks closing in a country community. And it was like that in the South Burnett when the Mergen meatworks at the time closed, and Paul was working there just before that. And it sort of gives that example. It left this big hole in that community in the South, and especially around the town of Mergen. And even though it was a very resilient area that was still, you know, grew a lot of hay and cropping and cattle, just that big end of industry that left town, everybody looked around and they thought, what are we going to do now? You know, but town's resilient, it kept on. And I guess, you know, there's so many, when you look around Australia, there's just so many communities that are like that. And then down the track, you'll get where there might be another industry will start up and brings a nice financial reward to the town, starts to develop things again. But then on the other hand, you get really big industry, and I think sometimes, you know, you look at the mining industry and that sort of thing, you know, it can bring prosperity to those communities, and which can be a really good thing. But then in other ways, it changes the whole demographic of the town, and also brings its own hardships for some of the people that have always lived there, you know. And that's what the song's all about. It's just,
Yeah, and I think too, like, you mentioned there's a lot of towns that go through this, whether it's big industry or it could be, I always think too, with the big industry that can sometimes be railway.
Yes.
All
that sort of thing.
Yeah, so a big thing in a small town. Dean, you brought your guitar in with you this morning.
Yes, the trusty guitar.
The trusty guitar, which is a nice guitar too, can I just say? I've been sitting here admiring it.
Oh, thank you.
What make, model, what are we looking at?
Well, I'm a bit of a guitar tragic. I'm not a drinker or a smoker, so guitars are my habit.
Yep.
And, but this one's a Martin D42.
Okay.
And, it's a bit of a Martin fan,
It's got a really nice, what is that? Is that some sort of like opal or some sort of like stonework?
Yeah, well, you've got some mother of pearl inlay there.
Yeah, nice.
And, it's a bit sparkly.
It is a
for
nice...
a bush bloke, isn't it, really?
Nothing wrong with a bit of sparkle, Dean. So you're going to perform a song for us this morning?
I will. So I think that song we were just talking about, and seeing that's my Golden Guitar nomination, and Paul's and Lockie's Golden Guitar nomination for this year, I'll sing that one for you.
All right. Dean Perrett, my special guest, joining me this morning on 2TM Breakfast.
Big thing in a small town. Shattered dreams and broken hearts, the local paper read. The meatworks closed its doors for good that day. All the warmth had faded, the magic disappeared. 300 families packed and moved away. Now Johnson's corner store can't feed them anymore, and the Bowsers at Red Servo have gone dry. Those who moved on early can make a brand new start. Could this be a blessing or a curse? It's a big thing in a small town. Change like that won't come around every day. The spirit of its heart can't be torn apart. The folk who call it home are here to stay. That big old mining company have sent their people in to sink the test holes down and find our worth. They say there'll be a calling for a local 1,000 jobs. Could this be a blessing or a curse? Now Billy Mack the ringer just scored a grand old job that earns him 3 times more than saddle pay. He'll buy a brand new cruiser, pay the mortgage on his place. Now he doesn't have to move away. It's a big thing in a small town. Times like this don't happen every day. The spirit of its heart can't be torn apart. The folk who call it home are here to stay. To some it's just a place on the highway, while others only dream this place will always be their home. It's a big thing in a small town. Change like that don't come around every day. The spirit of its heart can't be torn apart. The folk who call it home are here to stay. The spirit of its heart can't be torn apart. The folk who call it home are here to stay.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dean Perrett performing A Big Thing in a Small Town, nominated for Bush Ballad of the Year at this Saturday night's 53rd Golden Guitar Awards. Dean, an incredible song, and you can picture those people that are spoken about in the lyrics.
That's right, and that's what I love too, about Australian storytelling. It's it is, because we can all, if you paint the picture well, that's what it's like. It's just, and I always say, like when they sing it, it's just those story songs, you can sort of roll it before yourself like a movie as you're singing it, and you can just see it, see the picture painted. So.
Yeah, no, very much so. And for you, like with the bush ballad, traditional country sound, why is it important that we keep that type of country music so much alive in the Australian scene?
Well, Australian storytelling, it's our very own music, subject-wise. And, like I know back in years ago when the pioneers, they had their influences, everybody had an influence back in those days from off Jimmy Rogers and people like that. But, it was the heart of wanting to tell our own Australian stories where that great traditional country music, that bush ballad thing was born from. And so, it's just very, very important to our culture, isn't it, just to keep those stories churning over, painting Australia today, reminders of the past, but it's really important today to look around us at what's happening and, keep chronicling all that as we go,
Yeah, very true.
And, that's why I think, you look around, there's so many great young artists that are doing it too, and we mentioned Paul, and another new fella on the scene is a young bloke called William Alexander. And so, there's a lot down the track to look forward to, I think,
Yeah, very much so. Well, we'll take a quick break, Dean, sorry, and we'll catch up with you after the break, and we'll talk about some of your shows that you've got coming up while you're here in Tamworth. So stay tuned, folks. There's more of our festival coverage coming up after this.
Tamworth Equine Veterinary Centre offer assisted reproduction services, stallion collection, surgery and intensive care with a reputation for dedicated expert care. They also offer comprehensive on-farm equine veterinary services. Tamworth Equine Veterinary Centre, King George Avenue, or find them on Facebook.
Following a sold-out Australian tour, Keita Alexander is heading to Diggers. Keita has featured on dance anthems with Fisher and Laurel and had a huge hit Date Night featuring Morgan Evans. Don't miss ARIA-nominated Keita Alexander Sunday, January 26. Tickets on sale now at wtlc.com.au. This show is strictly 18 plus.
Viaduct Carpet Court have been turning houses into homes across the region for generations. With a huge selection of carpet, vinyl, laminate, hybrid, timber and much more, they have something to suit everyone. Come in and check out the huge range of rugs in stock at unbeatable prices. Kel and the team will find the perfect style solution for your home. Viaduct Carpet Court, 17 Dampier Street, Tamworth. Your floor covering specialist. Dream it, style it, live it.
There's only one place in Tamworth where you can experience suspense, action, comedy, love. And that's at Forum 6 Cinema Tamworth. Check out the latest Hollywood blockbusters on the big screen. Become a Forum Club member for $20 and get your first movie for free, plus discounted tickets. T's and C's apply. Experience the latest blockbuster movies now at Forum 6 Cinema, Peel Street.
Find out where your Macca's comes from the interactive McDonald space on the corner of Fitzroy Street and Cable Avenue. This is Tamworth's best festival coverage, 1287 2TM.
And Dean Perrett, my special guest, still with me in the 2TM studio on the breakfast show this morning. Now, Dean, I was looking at your schedule of where you're popping up here, there and everywhere across the festival. You are going to be one busy guy.
Yeah. Oh, no, that's what I'm used to, flash muggly mug about. But, yeah, that's right. And I always, have some regular shows that I do and then our regular appearances as well on some of the different stages. And so, yes, I measure it a little bit more than I used to do when I was younger, and you'd constantly be running to everything in the festival, and then when you'd done your own stuff, you'd run out to see who was playing where and see other mates and heroes singing. You know.
Are they some of your fond memories of the festival? Like, what's a standout memory from a festival past for you?
Yeah, I can remember well just back in the days of, especially when I was a lot younger, and you could see all the shows of the country music heroes that you used to. And one special thing was years ago, Brian Howard, had a heritage show, and they had what they call a Gordon Parsons Award that encouraged young artists in the traditional country music scene. And I remember Slim Dusty presenting that to me, and that was always, that was a special memory. But there's just been so many things that have happened, from right through to all the different people I've met and worked with and got to write with. The first goal in Qatar that I won, with Lee, and then the ones I won with Troy. And so, and then so many golden guitars of my own right there too. So it's just, there's so many special things. It's always been special to me, this festival.
Yeah, it's just one of those places. I think there's so many culminations of memories and highlights, and even if you're someone new to the festival, it's the starting place of where so many amazing memories will be made. So
it's the Tamworth Country Music Festival.
Exactly,
it's the big one.
It is. Now there is a big free concert that's happening in Toyota Park on Wednesday the 22nd, and that's at 7 p.m. and that's Back to the Bush. It's a spectacular event. You're going to be on the bill for that?
I am, yeah, I'm on there. It's a great show it's great that Peter Simpson and Diane Lindsay are the people sort of comparing the show behind, but the council, they get right behind it. It's so wonderful that, we have that show in the park every year now, and it's a showcase of traditional country music, especially in the bush ballad style genre, and songs of today and yesterday, all sorts of things that are, so if you like a bit of the old Slim Dusty type sound, and it's good to get on that stage with a beautiful big band as well and present things the very best we can,
Yeah.
So for all those that really love that great old traditional country music, that's a good one.
It is a good one. Now, also, Dean, I should make mention of, you've got 3 ticketed shows, the first of which is this afternoon at 2 p.m. at the North Tamworth Bolo.
That's right, yes. Myself with my good friend Peter Perrett, and this year our special guest is Brendan Radford, great singer-songwriter and guitarist, like Brendan's just one of those people. He's been around forever, playing with all the big names, but he's a great singer-songwriter.
Yeah.
And it's good to have him on the show. He's actually stepping in. We originally had our old friend Charlie Boyder, who was the acoustic guitarist for Slim Dusty for a lot of years. And unfortunately, Charlie just at the last minute couldn't get here, an unforeseen thing. And so it was great that Breno has jumped in to do this for us, and we're looking forward to that.
And then there's also tomorrow, 9 a.m. at the Balladeers Homestead. There's a ticketed show there. 2
old mates show, myself and my good mate Jeff Brown. We've been friends forever. And
2 peas in a pod.
That's right. We work well together, and so that's a regular an annual show we always do there, and yeah. Great.
And then on Friday the 24th, one final one to make mention of, 1 p.m. at the Southside Uniting Church, which is just next door to us. Here at 2 t.m. on Gunnaganoo Road, that's the final of the ticketed shows.
That's right, yeah. Joining me for that show will be Anita Ree from up in Queensland. She's a great singer-songwriter, storyteller too, and she's got her own nice modern way of going about her storytelling. And then our old mate Paul Ricketts is on the show with us too, singing his songs, and so yeah, we're looking forward to a nice afternoon there. Yeah.
And looking at 2025, just quickly, Dean, is it going to be a big year, more new material for this year?
Yeah, there is. We'll actually be releasing an album probably around May, sometime by the time the album comes out, and then in March too, myself and our old mate Jeff Brown, we're actually taking a trip to Nashville to visit our old mate Stewie French as well, and it'll be great to catch up with him. And we may just do a little bit of recording there with Stu while we're there as well. But yes, my next project coming up, I've recorded through Lindsay Waddington at LWM House on the Gold Coast. So he's been recording all these current songs for me and doing a great job. And so we're almost through producing a full album. So probably May, I'd reckon. It'll be
right.
out. Yeah.
So stay tuned for that. Well, Dean Perrett, thank you so much for your time this morning. Enjoy the rest of the 2025 festival. I'm sure I'll probably bump into you somewhere around the place. But as I said at the start, great to see a familiar face as well. Always nice and, just good to catch up with you.
Well, thanks, Sharnae. It's been a real pleasure as usual. And you can just keep smiling from the other side of the desk there.
Will do.
Good.
Our festival coverage continues very soon, coming up to that time of the morning where we'll catch up with John Wolfe, standing by in our 2TM newsroom. But for now, here's Melinda Schneider with Real People on Tamworth's Best, 1287 2TM.